improve my business and to make more money and to go to visit the United States.
Yay! Yay!
That's why I'm here. I want to go to the United States. Yeah, no, to be honest. Because Scotland is one of the best places around to learn about modern sheep farming. With 3.5 sheep per person, there are nearly 16 million sheep in this country, far more sheep than inhabitants. And that's why I'm here. And you know why sheep are so important for any agricultural business in this country? Have you got any guess?
Food and sweaters and...
No.
This man's saying exporting the wool.
Look at the hills. You cannot cultivate many crops here. And unlike on the Alps where I come from, where the higher you go, the richer grass you get, and then you can keep dairy cows. Here, the higher you go, the poorer grass you get. That's why sheep are so important for this kind of environment. Apart from goats, they're the only animals that can cope with that situation. And that's why here we have a display of some Scottish and some non-Scottish sheep breeds. I'm going to introduce you. The first one and most important for the sheep business here is this one. The name of the breed is Scottish blackface, because of the black cat with the grey muscle. This one is a ram. They got impressive horns. Ewes, they got horns as well, like a mullah. And they are the perfect sheep for this kind of environment, since they can stay out all the year long, even in the harshest winter or summer conditions, and they can still have 1 or 2 lambs in spring. They produce the worldwide famous Scottish lamb, first quality meat, exported all over Europe and in other parts of the world. And they got also some downsides. For example, they're not highly prolific sheep. They usually have just 1 lamb, sometimes 2. They are not fast growing or big, so you don't get much meat from them. They are wild, really wild sheep, very difficult to work with, even with a good sheepdog. And the quality of the wool is poor. It's a carpet wool type of sheep, so useful just for making carpets. Actually, in northern Italy we import the wool from these sheep to make luxury mattresses with it. Despite some downside, it's still the best sheep for this kind of environment, as well as the next one. This sheep here is not Scottish, it's English. The name of the breed is Cheviot, and they come from Northumberland, northern England.
I'm sorry,
when this sheep was brought here, it was not very popular. It was brought here during one of the saddest periods of Scottish history, the clan clearances of the 18th century, when noble families from Caithness and the lowlands decided that this land was good for grazing sheep instead of keeping small tenant farmers. That's why many farming families were driven away from their houses. Sometimes their houses were burned, people were killed, and that's why you can find Scottish people in every corner of the world, from New Zealand and Australia to the United States, Canada, South Africa and South America. There was no room for them here. They had to migrate. They were replaced by this kind of sheep. So that's why I guess it was not very popular. Nowadays it's one of the most common sheep you can find around Scotland, because they serve the same purposes as the Scottish blackface. They are hardy, tough animals. They can stay out all the year long on the hills. And compared to a Scottish blackface, they are faster growing, they are more prolific, and they are bigger. And the quality of the wool is slightly better than the one from the blackies. In the next enclosure we got another English breed. It has nothing to do with the hills, it's a lowland sheep. It's a blue-faced Leicester.
Hey, Leicester.
This sheep is not suited to live on the hills. They will die just in a month, I think, if you put some of these sheep on one of those hills. But they are quite popular all over Scotland because they are so important to create one of the most important commercial sheep there are around, Scotch mule. And this cross, the Scotch mule, is created because the bull-faced Leicester is a domesticated sheep, easier to work with than a Cheviot or a blackie, and it has a better quality of the wool, it has more meat and is more prolific. And they cross blue-faced Leicester with Cheviot or Scottish blackfaces when they get to the age of 5. Because when a sheep gets to the age of 5, it has to be removed from the hills. Their teeth start to fall and they cannot get the best from the poor environment on the hills. That's why they are brought to the lower pastures, to the lowlands, where they are crossed with the blue-faced Leicester to create this commercial cross, the Scotch mule, that combines all the best qualities of hardiness and toughness of the Cheviot. Nowadays, its fleece is worth just £2 in a season, whereas the carcass of an 8-month-old lamb is worth £80. You understand why modern sheep farmers, they don't want meat on their sheep, they don't want wool, sorry, on their sheep, they want meat. And this big boy is a perfect terminal site to produce this kind of crossbred sheep. See, they're just 2 months and after we get to the same size by the end of October, so really fast growing, ready for the market in a while. And look at the amount of meat it has on itself. The big rump, the long straight back, the wide round shoulder, and the bottom is the most expensive part of the sheep. So going around in Scotland you see a shepherd in a field looking at the sheep's bottoms. Don't get the wrong idea. He's doing nothing illegal, he's just checking if sheep are growing fast enough. Don't call the police, please. As calm as possible. Because the dog works in the flight zone. Wild animals will move gently away from the dog. The dog gets too close, he will get into the fight zone. And just imagine what a Scottish blackface ram with those huge horns can do to a dog. They can kill a dog. So it's very important the dog stays off. And that dog's name, Chad. Could you come here, please? Chad! Come here. Chad. His name is Chad, he's 10 years old, he's a sheepdog trial champion. We won several trials all over Europe together. Now he's on his way to retirement, even if he's still too keen on his job. And he will live like an old country gentleman, playing golf, going fishing, and collecting stamps. Well, apart being my best farm dog, Chad's also my best friend, so he will live like a pet, as a pet back home. And it's very important to create a strong bond with this dog. Don't trust people saying a good working dog cannot be a good pet, because they probably never had a real working dog. We're working on the heels, the job is tough, it's hard, it's difficult, and sometimes you need someone that is more than just a colleague, you need a true pal. So it's very important to create a strong friendship with your dog, to play with the dog as a life. But it's also extremely important to teach the dog from the very start that you are the boss, 100% of the time. Because the job is also dangerous, and if the dog doesn't take a command properly, the dog itself might get injured, the shepherd might get injured, but most of all, she might get injured or even die. That's why we teach our dogs a few basic commands since they're very young. The first and most important of all is that'll do. That'll do means it's enough, work is over, come to me. The second most important command is a stop command, is lie down. I can also use a short, sharp whistle for this command, because working on the hills there is rain, wind, huge distances. Sometimes the dog is working at more than 1 kilometer far from the shepherd. So it's a huge distance, and verbal commands are not enough. That's why we use whistles. And there are dozens of other commands you can teach a dog while herding stock. For example, you can ask a dog to look back for another bunch of sheep, or split a flock in 2 parts, take some sheep, leave the rest, or to hold a single ewe with her lambs in a corner of a field, and you go there and catch them. But there are 2 other very important commands every sheepdog must have. They are directional commands, left or right. We don't say left or right, because in English the sound of these 2 words is confusing for the dog. They are both short, they both end with T. A kilometer far from here there is no difference. Left, right, you feel? That's why traditionally we use a different system, not just Great Britain or Ireland, but all over Europe, the United States, Canada, South Africa and South America. It works like this. Just figure out the clock on your wrist with sheep or livestock right in the middle of the clock. I'm at 6 o'clock position. Border collies are bred to go in a wide circle around livestock to the balance point, that is 12 o'clock position. To get to that point there is a clockwise direction and an anti-clockwise direction. We say come by or by whistle for the clockwise direction, and away or by whistle for the anti-clockwise direction. If I move from 6 o'clock position to 9 o'clock position, a good working dog will automatically adjust its position to the new balance point, that is 3 o'clock position. If I move from 9 o'clock position to 3 o'clock position, the dog will get to the new balance point, it is 9 o'clock position. That's quite easy. That's just the basic of the herding ability of a working dog. Now, you don't have any question, have you got any question? No? Are you ready for some action?
Yeah.
Come on, are you ready?
Yeah. He doesn't get too close.
The reaction of the ducks is immediate. It's the same as working with sheep. This dog is very expert, very calm, so you can keep the animals as calm as possible. When you get to the balance point now, if I change my position, you keep balancing ducks to me, keep them together. This cannot be trained, this is just natural herding ability. But, lay down. And it doesn't matter, these are ducks, they might be sheep, lay down. Lay down. There might be sheep, goats, cattle, donkeys, horses, children, wives, any kind of wild animals. The dog will always behave like this. Now, comment on the dog, I can have them wherever I want. Lay down. Lay down.
Here they go.
Come by. Come by. Steady.
Oh, that's cute.
Look at these.